mindfully and with intention, live. Live, alive, thrive. Presently and fully love. Receive, conceive, believe. Openly and with abandon, give. Release, relinquish, renew, breathe.
I was determined not to come up here. But then something hit me out of nowhere. I figured, well, if it hit me, maybe there's a reason it hit me. So I decided to just share it. It was, strange enough, a quote from Michael Douglas, who helps teenagers in impoverished areas. And he said one sentence in the long documentary that has sustained me when I get frustrated with my disability, when I get frustrated at people, when I get frustrated at a variety of things of life. And so I thought, since it popped into my mind, and because I know a lot of you are going from here into challenging areas, I thought I'd share this one sentence. He said, talking to a group of African American kids who are pretty discouraged about their lives, he said, if you expect life to be easy, it'll always seem to be tough. But if you expect life to be tough, it gets a lot easier.
The man who introduced us at the beginning to each other in a circle said, we're here to remember. And since I'm the oldest person in this room, I thought I would offer a remembering. This morning and in a couple other settings, people spoke with some discouragement about how things don't seem to be changing the way they wish they had in terms of the goals that we all have here for inclusion. Right? And yet, let me remember what has happened. I had my first job in 1956. And I worked for a little organization that was focused on what was then called race relations. And the situation in terms of race in the United States was hideous. People were still being hung from trees in the South. Even in Chicago, in the downtown theaters, African American people had to sit in the balcony, right? And it looked so discouraging to me. And then but at the same time, there are other people working in this area in all kinds of places, in all kinds of churches. A lot of concern, activity, all small stuff. And then one day in North Carolina, my memory's right, 7 young African American people went into a dime store, and sat down in an area that said white only, and they sat there for lunch. And they were like a spark. And all of a sudden, the civil rights movement appeared. And it appeared everywhere. And it was a dynamic shift in the culture and the laws, right? And within 3 or 4 years, everything that we had hoped for had begun to really move and come true. And then a few years later, a woman wrote a book. Her name was Betty Friedan. She wrote a book, The Feminine Mystique. Just wrote a book. And all of a sudden, almost everywhere there appeared a huge movement with tremendous effect, the women's movement. And then some students in a couple of universities said, let's have an environmental day, but we'll call it Earth Day. And all over the country, university students got this Earth Day to happen, and it was the spark that lit the environmental movement. And then a group of men who were gay stood up against the police one day in New York in a bar, Stonewall. And they were the match, and the movement that has been so clear in terms of ideas about the place of people in terms of sexual identity have all changed. And I think it's only 2 years ago in Tunisia, a young man who was so frustrated by what the government was like went to a square and set himself on fire. But that fire lit the Arab Spring. So what I want to share is to remember that if things look sometimes discouraging, that just ahead of us, there's a spark. We don't know where it is. We don't know how it will happen, but it will happen. And the culture will change. And it will be the manifestation of a movement of which we are a critical part at this moment. We are getting ready for a future that will be revolutionary, as has happened in all these other movements. So keep on keeping on. I may not be here myself, but I know this movement is here, it's coming, the spark will be lit, and the transformation that we've seen about the identities of all kinds of people will happen in terms of the goals that we seek. I only wish I could be here when that day comes.
So this week's song has kind of weaved its way each day throughout. We started with the community dinner on Sunday, and we shared song together. And songs for me and music in general, they're about shared experience, and they're about celebration. And yes, we've also had that other side, which people here have expressed all week, which is what John just mentioned, that there's struggle. and that people can find ourselves in dark places. And when you're in a community of people like this, and we talk about all the great things that we're trying to strive for, and how awesome that place may be or will be, and maybe it is right now, we all experience sadness and darkness and times where we think, man, I just don't feel like I'm making that change. So there's that darkness juxtaposed with the celebration. So for me, I'm not about to sing. Okay, so that's what you're wondering I'm doing. You don't want me to sing, but I am going to play a song, and what I'm going to invite you to do is listen to the words. The words of this song, for me, really, really resonate and kind of, I think, capture what I just said and what a lot of things were said this week. So I want to invite you to really listen to the lyrics, because a big, vital part of music, at least music with music with lyrics, is the writing, is what is being said, combined with what the beauty of the instruments come together to do. I also want to invite you to participate. So that shared experience we did on Sunday, you can do now. I'm also not about to lead you into different little arrangements of things, but I am going to invite you to participate in whatever way that be. If it's singing, sing. If it's clapping, clap. If it's dancing, dance. And make sure you do all of that like nobody's watching. Okay? So, Peter, if you want to start that music.
Are 3 things I do when my life falls apart. Number 1, I cry my eyes out and dry up my heart. Not until I do this will my new life start. So that's the first thing that I do when my life falls apart. The second thing I do is I close both of my eyes and say my thank yous to each and every moment of my life. I go where I know the love is and let it fill me up inside, gathering new strength from sorrow. I'm glad to be alive. Things are looking up. I know above the clouds the sun is shining. Things are looking up. Love is still the answer. I'm relying on 3 little things. Things are looking up. The third thing that I do now when my world caves in is I pause, I take a breath and bow, and I let the chapter end. I design my future bright, not by where my life has been. And I try again. Yes, I try again. Things are looking up. I know beyond the dark the sun is rising. Things are looking up. And I know above the clouds the sun is shining. Things are looking up. Ooh, love is still the answer. I'm relying on 3 little things. 3 little things.
I have to leave in a second, but I want to take advantage of a big room of people who won't mind if I do this. I thought I could lead everybody in the sound of Om. It just comes from the heart. You just breathe in real deep, into your abdomen, and then we'll let out the sound of Om, and just see how long it can go for. We only have to do one. So I'm going to sit back down again, since that's the easiest way to do it. But thank you.
Hi. So it's just a little story. I have a friend who's also a co-facilitator where I volunteer. And I saw someone one day give her like a small plaque with the word hope on it. And I asked her about it. I go, what's up with that? You know, like, and she's like, I like collecting things with the word hope. And I thought, okay. It's a little hokey, but, you know, whatever works for you. I collect ladybugs, so sure. And I asked her, why that word, right? Because I'm like, you know, there's people that like words like faith and love and happiness. And she said, I hold hope for myself and for my family and for my son, and I hold it for other people. And that really meant something to me. So I hope that we can hold hope for ourselves and for others that come into our lives.
Sure, I had nothing to say, and then a poem came to me, or a proverb that I read that says something like, life is struggle, success or failure is in the hands of the gods, so celebrate the struggle. And I think one of the things I've really learned this week is that to celebrate the struggle, but when you do it in really good company, it is a celebration. So thank you.
All right. So I've come to learn that, well, learning over throughout the course of my life that things like this are a little bit like church to me. And I really like singing together. And do you guys know Martin Sexton? Anyone? Anyone? You have Martin? Yes. There's usually just two of them. So he has this one song that I really love, and maybe I'll sing the chorus. And then you guys can sing it with me, and then maybe we'll sing through it like 4 times, and it's a little bit like my prayer. So it goes like this. I'll say the words first. Take hold of me. Blessed powers that be, love, keep us together. So now I'll sing it. Take hold of me. Blessed powers that be, love, keep us together. So do you want to try singing that with me? Okay, we'll go through once and then we can really sing. it goes like this. Take hold of me, blessed powers that be. Love, keep us together. So now we're going to sing through it 4 times because I just want you guys to get loose and sing it however you wish because I think that's a beautiful sound. All right. Take hold of me, blessed powers that be. Love, keep us together. Yeah, we sing. Take hold of me, blessed powers that be. Love, keep us together. Take hold of me, blessed powers that be. Love, keep us together. Take hold of me, blessed powers that be. Love, keep us together.
So I wasn't going to do this, but I was just asked to ask Jack and Linda, but I wanted to do it by myself. So just things like this make me really happy that people care enough to come together. And this is why I wasn't going to do it, because I knew I would cry. But I went to a concert last night, and it reminded me kind of what this is. So Gavin DeGraw, I don't know if people know who Gavin DeGraw is. I know I like him. I don't know a lot about him. I know I knew a couple of his songs. So I was like, well, I'll have a good time. Just go. And it would be okay. And that's a lot like this to me. Inclusion is important to me. I don't know all the aspects of it. But when I got to Gavin DeGraw, I noticed that I knew all of the songs. I didn't know all of the words, but it didn't matter because people beside me knew all the words. So if I couldn't sing, I watched them and I followed along and I just took it all in. And that's really what this is about to me today and just this week. So I'm really appreciative that everybody here accepts, I guess it's that word hospitality that we learned, is welcoming people, strangers, in. And I really felt that this week, and it couldn't be possible without Jack and Linda and everybody else. So thank you.
I too was not going to do this, but I just wanted to say thank you to everyone for your friendship and lifelong connections. Thank you for giving me a voice, and one that I don't have to use through speech. And thank you for allowing me to see things through my daughter's eyes.
I really wasn't going to do this. Wonder Woman had a little bit too much to drink last night, actually. But I just want to say that I really enjoyed this week, and I enjoyed meeting so many of you, and you're just all such beautiful humans. It was very, it it was a wonderful experience. It was my first time, and I loved it so much, each of you. And I learned so much about people who are very different than me, but in such beautiful ways. And all. So this week for me was a lot of what I was doing was a big stretch. Dressing up as Wonder Woman, that was easy, but some of the other things, like I don't think I would have ever pictured myself walking up to an addict in a park who was sitting there smoking hash, and I don't even know what hash is, and drinking beer at lunchtime. I mean, it was just a real, lots of different things. And so one of the things that I did that was a stretch was I biked through like all the, the rush hour traffic and all that, and I went down to the park to the yoga thing. And for the little circle sing, because I really enjoyed that circle sing. And so one of the songs that we sang, the words are this: when you were born, you cried, and the world rejoiced. Live your life so that when you die, the world cries and you rejoice. Now, anybody who was there at the circle sing want to come sing it? No. Oh, come on. Okay. Remember how it started? It was, and if y'all, we'll sing it one time, and then if y'all want to try and sing it with us, that was really fun when you did that.
And
so
we can even divide them in two.
Oh, well, now we're really getting fancy. We sang this as a round, so it was cool. When you were born, you cried, and the world rejoiced. Live your life so that when you die, the world cries and you rejoice. When you were born, you cried, and the world rejoiced. Live your life so that when you die, the world cries and you rejoice. Yay!
Okay. I don't ever come up here twice. But this is for the ending. This will be the closing, I think. And this is for everybody. And this will be a song. And that's the stretch, right? But this is a song about giftedness. As far as I know, it's the only song about giftedness that there is. And I know that every one of you in this room, knows the words to this song. So you better sing it with me, please. Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer had a very shiny nose. And if you ever saw it, you would even say it close. All of the other reindeer used to laugh and call him names. They never let poor Rudolph join in any reindeer games. Then one foggy Christmas Eve, Santa came to say, Rudolph, with your nose so bright, won't you guide my sleigh tonight? Then all the reindeer loved him as they shouted with glee. Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer, you'll go down in history. Yay!
I hate to do this to you, Judith, but everyone knows that it's not over till the fat lady sings. So we're kind of back to the beginning almost, I think, and the song has just played through my head the whole time we've been here, that we have such joy in being together. And there are all these people we know, there are all these situations we're in where it is a struggle, continuing struggle for people. So I want to offer that song that we started with and invite you to sing it. And then I don't know if it's over or not, but whoever wants it, so. Let us pause in life's pleasures and count its many tears, while we all sup sorrow with the poor. There's a song that will linger forever in our ears. Oh, hard times come again no more. 'Tis a song, a sigh of the weary. Hard times come again no more. Many days you have lingered around my cabin door. Oh, hard times come again no more. While we seek mirth and music and pleasures bright and gay, there are frail forms waiting at the door. Though their voices are silent, their pleading lips would say, oh, hard times come again no more. It is a song, a sigh of the weary. Hard times come again no more. Many days you have lingered around my cabin door. Oh, hard times come again no more. Oh, hard times come again no more.
I'm wondering if we can figure out a way to have this part of the circle extend in a way, or if folks have a chair next to them, that folks can find a seat, because we're coming to the last word. And it happens to a bit of a rhythm. And it goes a bit easier if we're just using this electronic talking stick to pass and speak into. While everybody's getting settled, if you've got a chair next to you, will you let folks know? There's chairs on either side of Joni. So we're talking about the 29th year.
Yeah.
And then we're going to do, and then I'll ask for a closing.
Okay. In the Toronto Summer Institute tradition, there are many people who are our spiritual advisors who got us here. And many of you bring with you long lineages of wisdom, some of whom are of the earth, and some of whom are no longer here bodily. One of those people was Shafiq Asante. And Shafiq was an absolutely remarkable African-American organizer from Philly. And he was many, many things, but Shafiq was with us for many years. And particularly when we used to have the Institute for many years at the top of a hotel just up the street here, the Primrose Hotel. And Shafiq every year used to tell the story about Mount Primrose. And it was a climb because it was the 17th floor, I think. But more important, he told it in its biblical origins. And he reminded us that Moses, after all that, trials and tribulations, wandered into the mountains and eventually, in frustration, saw the burning bush. And it wasn't actually burning, but it gave him direction. But that was up on top of the mountain. And then Moses' job, as he figured out, was to go down the mountain with the people and lead them to the promised land. And of course, that was a bigger journey. And Shafiq's way of reminding us about that was this time we have together, we are the privileged few. We get to spend this quite remarkable time at a metaphorical mountaintop. And there have been lots of burning bushes for us to look into and taste and savor and smell and notice the wisdom that's available to us with each other. But we don't get to stay here. This is a respite. This is where you get re-energized. This is where you get direction. And now the hard work begins as you begin your return journey to the valleys where the people are. And Shafiq always reminded us that Mount Primrose is a privileged place, but for those of us who get to spend time here, we have an obligation and a responsibility to go back down the mountain and do the hard work so that others will be able to glimpse a different kind of future. And with that, this will be the almost last words, except yours, for the 28th Summer Institute. And we want to give you advance notice about the 29th Summer Institute, which is going to be different. Because as you may or may not know, next year Toronto is hosting, for those of you who aren't part of the Commonwealth, the Pan Am Games. And this is, it's sort of an Olympics kind of thing. But it means that every hotel in the city, including this one, is already booked out next year for the summer. So we can't be here. But we have a plan B. The Toronto Summer Institute is going to take the show on the road and go to
San Diego. So, as John O'Brien liked to say, we are taking this, the circus is coming to town in San Diego. So we don't know the dates yet. Our hope is the second week in July. We don't know the venue yet. We hope it's awesome. It'll be somewhere near a beach, which is incredibly awesome. So I feel really, really grateful and privileged to be able to host the roadshow, the first roadshow of TSI. So hope you guys all come and tell everybody how amazing it's going to be at the beach. You'll be notified as soon as we have any more details. But send your strength and organization thoughts towards San Diego. We're going to need beams of that. So can't wait to see you there 1 year from last week.
Thanks, Beth. That circus metaphor is interesting. I do I do really want to thank the folks who offered modules this year. They were really wonderful experiences, I think, mutual for people. Patty Scott and Dave Hasbury, and Emma Vanderclift and Norm Kuntz, and Peter Marks, and John O'Brien, and John McKnight, and Diamond Hargis, and my boyfriend and me, Jack Pierpoint, and I had the good fortune of spending time like that with you, and we really thank you for that. And the other hosts who had some really lovely spots, Judith on Sunday afternoon, and Connie O'Brien with your many hits for the varied experiences. Thank you both very much. We want to now, I'm just going to talk a little bit about what it takes after the next two things. So I don't want you to do anything now. I want you to listen to what will happen after the closing round, and then one more invitation I'm going to give you. And after that happens, we will find ourselves beginning to organize this room and put it back the way we found it. So a couple things that people can do, folks who can really stay for a while to help. Rebecca and Laura will be part of giving some direction to people about what things can be taken down and how. But something you all can do where you are, is just pick up some of the stuff and deposit it in bins as you leave. And as Michelle Hill from Windsor pointed out, if everybody just looks around them and pulls some of the tape off the floor, it's going to save a couple of people from spending quite a while doing that. So if you do that, but don't do it now. I know this was hard. But it is so little fun to end this with a bunch of instructions about that. So I don't want to do that. So there'll just be a little bit of that. And folks, you'll know when it's over. And tell stacks of chairs. So in about 6s are going to be great. That would be helpful. And so we are now doing the first of the last two things. And the first is a closing round of words. You have just had your opportunity for even 2 words, or 3 or 4, or a sentence or so. So now we're just down to 1. We're going to use this electronic talking stick. So if folks will pass this, are you all out there? Because it's rhythm. You coming in for the words? Okay. So it comes by you, Dave, and Al, and Tim. You're just going to keep it going. Okay? We're coming around. So we're coming around everybody in the circle. Just one word. And if you'll hold this,
Thank you.
Amazing.
Focus. Pow. Energy.
Believe.
Colorful.
Awesome.
Hopeful.
Deepen. Grateful.
Connection.
Space.
Courage.
Gratitude.
Light.
Inspiring.
Proud.
Joyful. Camaraderie.
Filled. Healthy.
Grateful.
Rested.
Persistence.
Curious. Accepted. Peace.
Equanimity.
Like a high, make a hiney ho.
Welcomed.
Courageous. Song. Rich.
Courage.
Happy.
Wonderful.
Time. We. Stretch.
Act.
Open.
Moon.
Energy.
Fabulous.
Gratitude.
Community.
Possibilities.
Oneness.
Encouraged.
Renewal.
Commit.
Mindful.
Abundance.
Grateful.
Kinship. Renewed.
Allowing.
Hopeful.
Surrender.
Dream. Love.
Inspired.
Beautiful. Spark.
Rejuvenated.
Connection.
Discovery.
Deepening.
Change.
Villager.
Inclusion.
Everlasting.
Opening.
Thoughtful.
Gifts.
Grow.
Appreciation.
Hopeful.
Moments.
Abundance. Dance.
Delirious.
Pipe cleaners.
Harmony.
Makeup.
Roots.
Cornucopia.
Fun.
Connections.
Thoughtful.
Family.
Life-giving.
Gratitude. This may be hard to remember. There have been so many connections. But if you could, and this may be the biggest stretch, without words, please stand next to someone you really did not know at the beginning of this institute. Quietly stand next to someone you didn't know. Please do it now, softly. Softly.
I will be keeping in touch for sure.
If you would now, please, and when this is over, it is the end, please greet that person like a long lost friend.